At the IATA AGM, a considerable amount of time was talked about the environment. But actually, I would say for the past 10 years, at least in IATA, there's been a very significant focus on the environment. And I think IATA has been central in progressing the concept of a global solution to what is a global issue through the development of Corry. And, we've got to remember, aviation is still the only industry that has done that. We're the only industry that has come together to agree a scheme that would apply at an industry level. Nobody else has done that as yet. Now, there are people who say Corsia isn't enough, and for one, I would agree. I think Corsia is a very good first step, and I think everybody who was involved in the development and the arguments for Corsia recognise that it would evolve over time, and that this would develop into a better global system. We're not seeing any impact, and it is, it's clearly Europe is not, it's not seeing the same issues. Like, I think there's one Green MP out of 650 in the UK. I'm not sure how many Green TDs there are, Michael, in Dáil Éireann, but there's two. So, we're not seeing the same push, because we recognise in these peripheral countries, particularly in countries like Ireland, an island economy, that without aviation, the economy would be destroyed. Ireland depends on inward investment. Ireland depends heavily on US companies who invested in Ireland, and it depends on having air links, to the US. And it's still a fact that 80% of the CO2 that is emitted from our industry is on flights of greater than 1,500 kilometres, where the train is not an alternative. So there are alternatives, and we recognise that. But I think we need to base this debate in some facts. We need to base it in reality. And as Michael set out in his presentation, this view that we're not taxed and therefore we should face punitive action is untrue. If I look at again, taking British Airways as an example, we spend exactly the same amount per litre of fuel in taxes as the rail industry does. Nobody says that the rail industry isn't taxed. Now, what we don't get, which the rail industry gets, is subsidies. So they're getting subsidies from the UK government in or around £6 billion a year, plus loans to develop rail transport. We're paying for infrastructure, as you saw in the presentation. Across Europe, it's nearly 90% of our infrastructure costs is borne by the industry. In the UK and Ireland, it's 100%. So the reality of it is here that this is an industry that recognises the role that it has to play, and is playing a key role, and is improving through significant investment, both directly in new aircraft, as Michael has said, and in research and development into sustainable alternatives to kerosene. That we will play our part and improve our performance. And we can see a pathway to doing that. What we want is people to recognise both the economic impact that we have, which is absolutely critical to the European economy, and particularly, as Michael has pointed out, those countries on the periphery of Europe, and also to recognise the work that we are doing ourselves and funding ourselves, which is unlike any other mode of transport around Europe, or indeed around the world at the moment.
Just one question I would still like to add, but we all offer voluntary offsetting opportunities for our customers online, and that is not going up. And I would expect that if people say it's such a big deal and they feel bad about it, that would increase. So I still find that what people say, what people do, is not always the same.